You are born the most beautiful bird on earth. This is going to be a problem. Not today, not this year, not for a while. Right now, you are a peachick brown, the size of a fist. You look like a slightly off version of your mother, and that is the only reason you are alive. Nothing in this forest looks at you twice. You eat insects. You follow her through the undergrowth. Nothing chases you. Nothing notices you. Nothing wants you. Enjoy it. In 2 years, your body starts building the thing that will take over the rest of your life. And from the moment it starts, you will spend every waking hour of every spring trying to be seen by one specific kind of audience, and you will fail in front of her over and over for years. By year 4, your train will be fully developed. 150 feathers, 300 grams, 1.5 meters of bronze and green and iridescent blue, each feather ending in an eye spot, a perfect circle of color that exists for one reason and one reason only. You are going to fan that train in front of a peahen. You are going to vibrate it until every feather shimmers and the rustling fills the air. You are going to position yourself so the morning light hits the eye spots at exactly the angle that makes them blaze. She is going to walk to the male with slightly more iridescent eye spots than you. You are going to stand there, with your tail fanned in an empty lek, and the worst part isn't the empty lek. It isn't the 6 months you spent growing the train. It's what happens in August, after you have failed for the entire season, when your body, on its own, decides to take the whole thing back. Just wait for it. Skip forward. You are 2 years old. The train has started. Small right now, shorter than it will be, fewer feathers, the eye spots not yet at full iridescence. But the compulsion to display has arrived, and you don't know how to evaluate your own train against the others yet, so you fan it anyway. You spread what you have. You vibrate it. The rustling sounds the same as it will when the train is full. The peahens continue foraging. Not once. Not on the days when you position it perfectly. Not on the mornings when the light is right. Every morning, whether anyone approaches or not, whether the dominant male is watching or not, whether it is working or not, the display happens because the display must happen. The compulsion does not ask whether it is worth it. This is your life for the next 2 years. Building the train and displaying it in a lek while the peahens, on average, visit 3 different males before choosing one, and choose based on the iridescence of the eye spots, the density of the lower train, the vigor of the vibration. All things that are not yet fully yours. 3 years old, the train is bigger, still not full, still not enough. The dominant male in your lek copulated 11 times last season. You copulated 0. You did do one thing. A younger male, 2 years old, smaller train, no threat, wandered into your display area. You turned, fanned the full train, and walked toward him. He left immediately. You claimed approximately 4 square meters of muddy ground at the edge of a forest in India. That is your territory. You display in it every morning. Nobody comes. But no one else is in it either. Year 4. The train is complete. Year 4. The full train fans open for the first time. 150 feathers. You feel the weight of them different from the seasons before the full spread, the full rustle, every eye spot catching the morning light. You have been building toward this for 2 years, and now it is here, and it is objectively extraordinary. A peahen approaches. She is looking at the lower section of your train, not the eye spots, not the iridescent crown you spent 6 months on, the lower train, for about 3 seconds, not the chest, the lower train, for roughly 3 seconds. She walks to the male 12 meters away. His eye spots are fractionally more iridescent. You cannot measure this. She can. If a peahen walked past your tail, the lek is a territorial arrangement that is not designed in your favor. Males claim display areas and defend them. The most dominant males claim the center. Peahens entering the lek drift toward the center. Research on lek behavior shows that in a group of 10 males, the top 1 or 2 males will account for the majority of matings. The males at the edge of the lek display just as hard, fan just as fully, vibrate just as vigorously, and copulate significantly less. Sometimes 0. You are at the edge of the lek, not because your tail is bad. Because the male in the center has a fractionally better tail and peahens, applying evolutionary logic that has worked for millions of years, prefer to mate with a fractional best available. Their offspring will inherit those genes. It is a rational system. It is a rational system in which you are standing at the edge of a field with 150 feathers fanned in the morning light, displaying to no one. There are good mornings, you learn the light. The eye spot's iridescence peaks when the sun is at a specific angle, roughly 45 degrees relative to your position, and you learn to rotate your display to hold that angle as the sun moves. You learn when the peahens move through the lek and you are ready before they arrive. You learn to hold the vibration longer, to fan the lower train wider, to produce the specific wing spread and bow at the right moment. A peahen approaches and stays. She watches the lower train. She watches the eye spot iridescence. She is still there after 30 seconds, which is longer than most. You continue the display, the vibration, the shimmer, the rustling of 150 feathers, all moving together. She walks to the dominant male. He had been displaying to another female. She waited for him. Year 6, your best display. The light is exactly right. The angle is correct. The lower train is at peak development, the eye spot iridescence running at full saturation in the morning sun. You have been in this lek for 4 years and you know every variable, and today every variable is correct. A peahen approaches. She watches for a long time. She watches the lower train, the shimmer, the density of the fan. She has visited 2 other males this morning. She chooses you. This is the thing 6 years of building was for. The 6 months of 3% daily energy. The 2 years of displaying an inferior train. The mornings at the edge of the lek when no one approached. This specific moment, this specific choice, is what all of it was building toward. It lasts approximately 10 seconds. Research shows that approximately half of peahens mate with more than 1 male per season. 3 days later, she mates with the dominant male. Then she lays her eggs and raises the chicks alone. You are not involved. You will not know the chicks. Your contribution to the next generation is the 10 seconds and the genes in the eye spots. In August, the tail falls out. Not one feather, all of them. The 150 feathers that took 6 months of 3% of your daily energy to construct, the 1.5 meters of bronze and green and iridescent blue that the peahen assessed in 3 seconds, they fall to the ground over the course of a few weeks, and the most spectacular bird in this forest becomes a brown, nondescript bird that looks like a slightly larger version of the females. You stand in the pile of your own feathers. The regrowth starts immediately. Small pin feathers pushing through, the beginning of next season's train. 7 months to regrow it. Then the lek again. Then the display. Then the peahen visits 3 males and chooses the one with the best lower train iridescence. This is every year, for up to 40 years. In every lek across India and Sri Lanka, right now, there are male peacocks in full display. Each one has spent 6 months and 3% of its daily energy building a train. Each one has learned the light. Each one is vibrating 150 feathers in the morning sun. Research on lek behavior consistently finds the same pattern. The top 1 or 2 males in a lek account for a disproportionate share of all matings. The males below them display just as hard, with trains nearly as impressive, in the same light, to the same peahens, and get significantly fewer approaches. Sometimes none. They display anyway. They cannot not display. The compulsion to fan and vibrate and hold the angle of the light arrived at year 2, and it will not leave until they are dead. In August, everyone's tail falls out. In September, everyone starts building again. Drop a peacock emoji if any of this hit you. And there is one more animal that spends its entire life building toward a single moment of being chosen. It does not have feathers, it cannot display, it just makes a sound and waits. Next video.